there's a lot being said about psychology, some of it true, some of it false, and there have just been a lot of misconceptions that have come up, and I'm here to debunk them. Yay. And I'm sure you must be wondering, like, who's this girl? Who's got the right to, come and say these things? Who gave me the right to come and tell you that everything you know about psychology is false? Well, I'm a 300 level student studying psychology, so I think I know a thing or two. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about some of the most common misconceptions that people have about psychology and psychologists. And the first one is, drum rolls please, that we can read minds. If you know the number of times I've heard this thing, but every time I tell somebody I'm studying psychology, they say, oh, read my mind. What am I thinking? Like that's not what we're about. Okay, that is not what we're about. Do we study minds? Yes, psychology is literally just the scientific study of the human mind and behavior. We study minds, but we cannot read minds. We don't know every single thought you've ever had or will have, except you tell us, literally. Okay, so fine, psychologists cannot read mind, but what do psychologists do? Well, psychology, the field of psychology, has 4 main goals. Okay, to describe, explain, predict, and change or control. So when you talk about being able to describe something, it's like, okay, it's about observation and knowing or understanding what is happening. So something is happening right now, I'm observing it, and I want to be able to understand what is happening. To explain, this is talking about understanding why it's happening, like why are you doing this particular thing you're doing, or why do you think like this and stuff like that. Like, we want to know why humans do the things we do and why we think the way we think. Then it comes, the next one is to be able to predict behavior, and I guess that this is where the misconception comes from. And this is just, it's not magic. Okay, when you observe something for a long time, you've seen it happen repeatedly, you know why it's happening, you could, I don't want to say easily, but easily know when it's going to happen again. You can easily know what is going to trigger it and when it's going to happen, like why it's happening, when it's gonna happen next. So yeah, that is what we do. And then we have the last one, which is to change or control behavior, and this comes from all the other 3. When you fully understand it, what is happening, why it's happening, when it can happen again, we now learn how to change or modify behaviors. So yeah, that's what psychology is really all about, and I did kind of rush through that explanation, so if you didn't understand, I am so sorry, but just know that what psychologists do, or what psychology is all about, or the goals of psychology basically, is to describe behavior, explain behavior, predict behavior, and change or control behaviors. We cannot read minds. I wish I knew how to read minds. My life would be a lot easier, but no, we cannot read minds. The next misconception is that everybody studying psychology automatically wants to become a therapist, and that is just not the case. Even myself, I don't think I want to go into therapy. I'm considering it, yeah, but then I'm not that sure. Psychology is so broad. It is actually annoyingly broad. There are just so many parts of it. I mean, psychology, if you were to divide it into 2, you would have academic psychology and applied psychology. And academic psychology is more of the theoretical part, and we have cognitive psychology, we have social psychology, we have physiological psychology, we have experimental, we have political psychology, and then we come to the applied side. Okay, and this is where you take those theories and you use them in the real world. Yeah, we have clinical psychology, those guys work with doctors. We have forensic psychology, they work with law enforcement and detectives. We have educational psychology, we have engineering psychology, we have geriatric psychology, we have industrial organizational psychology, and that's more with the corporate world, and that's actually what I want to go into. So to just feel like everyone studies psychology wants to go into therapy. Nah. Therapy, psychotherapy is, I don't want to say it's a small part, because it's psychology kind of like started with that sort of, it started with the psychoanalytic theory and stuff. So I'm getting too technical, I'm sorry. But yeah, so it's like just that part. It's not so small, but it's like a small part of it. Psychotherapy is like so small compared to the it's so broad. So no, the next time you say psychology student, don't automatically assume that they want to become a therapist. So yeah, not every psychologist is a therapist, and fun fact, not every therapist is a psychologist. You can go into counseling and even therapy, and you do not have to be a psychology student. It would be nice if you had a background in psychology, but it is not a requirement. You can study anything, have a BSc in anything, and still do counseling, still do therapy. You just have to undergo some professional programs, and you're good. So yeah, not every psychologist is a therapist. So the third misconception, which was kind of surprising to me, but at the same time not so surprising, is that a lot of people think that psychologists are manipulative. Like, okay, like I said, this is something that is sort of surprising, because like I did not know until I actually asked. I heard it once, and then I was like, I gotta find out if other people think this way, and I asked, and turns out a lot of people just feel like psychologists are manipulative, and that is simply not the case. We are not being taught how to manipulate anybody. It is not a course in school. Some people feel that it is a requirement for some branches of psychology, or something like that, and I'm here to tell you that it is not a requirement. Manipulation is bad, and it is highly unethical to make someone do something for your own interest, or to make someone say something you want them to say, or act in a certain way you want them to act. It is wrong, and nobody's teaching psychologists how to do that. But does having a background in psychology or having some knowledge of human psychology help in manipulation? Sure, it could, but it is not something that psychologists know how to do by default. Anybody has the capacity to be manipulative and know how to manipulate people, and psychologists just don't know how to do it just because they are psychologists. There are some psychologists or psychology students that are manipulative, but that is not the majority, and certainly not all of us. Our fourth misconception for today is that a lot of people feel like psychology as a discipline can be summed up, or it's mostly about intuition, reading people, all those little facts and tidbits that you see on like TikTok, or you see as memes and all. Those ones that is like, if somebody looks to the side and is asking them a question, they are lying to you, or something like, if you tell somebody something, if you say it 3 times and then they respond like this, they're a real friend, or if they don't respond like this, they're not a real friend, and on all those little things. It's not, okay? Sometimes those facts are true, they are facts. Sometimes they're based off actual research, but then just to feel like that's all psychology is about is wrong, because it's so broad and it's about way more than that, way more than that. So if you actually want to learn about psychology, I would suggest that you come to YouTube and not TikTok or Instagram or anywhere else. Just come to YouTube instead if you're really interested in learning about psychology and all of that. But yeah, psychology is more than those little facts and knowing whether somebody's lying to you or not, and all those things that you see online. Okay guys, we have come to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want more psychology videos. I don't know why it took me this long to actually make a psychology video. Really weird, but I'm ready to make more if you want more. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. You know what we do around here. You know everything already. Okay, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.